So I want to share an experience that I've recently had that's shifted my life. I'm not sure if I call it an awakening, a spiritual experience, or what. Maybe the best word for it is a calling. My wife and I planned a trip with some friends to the Bahamas. Our travel date was March 20th, 2022. And for some odd reason, my wife's COVID results didn't come back in a timely manner, and it caused us to miss our flight. When she finally received her results, we were able to painstakingly make our way to the Bahamas, arriving a full day late. And that's a different story for a different day. Our good friend scheduled a taxi to pick us up from the airport, but he wasn't there. After waiting for a while, I asked a different driver for a ride. As he walked towards his busted up minivan, he asked a stranger where he was headed. And I guess it was in a similar direction because he jumped in with us also. I asked the two men what were the best things to do on the island, and they gave me their suggestions. When I told them how much I love animals, the dude in the back mentioned a stingray experience somewhere on the island. I was surprised because I had Google searched for a shark or a stingray or similar excursion, and I couldn't find anything. Long story short, it was the highlight of the trip. Well, at least for me it was. The tour guide and I quickly connected with one another, probably because we both have the same passion for wildlife and conservation. I was really looking forward to swimming with the rays, but I asked the tour guide if we'd see any sharks. He confidently said, "Oh, I guarantee that you'll see sharks." As we approached the location where the animals reside, I could hardly breathe. There are no words to describe the beauty of this island. It was like nothing I'd ever witnessed with my own eyes. As we got closer, I saw stingrays and sharks peacefully gliding through the water. I'm not sure how to say it, but I was on stimulation overload. I could not wait to get in the water. The instructor shared some history and gave instructions on how to interact with the animals, and finally we were able to get into the water. Once again, I'll give a more detailed description of all this in a future video. We had an amazing time feeding the stingrays and snorkeling with the rays and sharks. It was the most amazing experience that I'd ever had outside of being a husband and a father. Somewhere during this whole experience, the instructor told me that I would make the perfect business partner, and he invited me to join him. In that moment, I was going out of my mind. To spend so much time this close to wildlife is a childhood dream. It's like when someone asks, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" This opportunity would have been my answer. And really, it still is today. So this is kind of a big deal. This opportunity includes a lot more than interacting with and educating people on stingrays and sharks. It will also give me the ability to work with loads of other ocean wildlife, not to mention time to explore. I get giddy just thinking about it, and deep down, I feel like I was born to do this. I would be like the ocean version of the crocodile hunter. You know, Steve Irwin, my all-time hero, only not as cool. Anyway, I told the instructor that I would seriously consider it, and before my wife and I headed home, I told her that I was seriously considering it as well. Obviously, I wouldn't want to do it full-time because I have a thriving real estate business here in Utah as Ty the real estate guy, but also because my wife and children wouldn't want to leave Utah either. Talk about being torn in two directions. Obviously, my first priority is my wife and children. I love them dearly, more than anything else in the world. But how do I pass on such an amazing, maybe once in a lifetime opportunity? There's no easy answer, but I've thought of dozens of ways we could make it work. One of the things that touched me the most is the deep love that the instructor has for the stingrays. He calls them his girls because he's never seen a male stingray there. If I remember correctly, he's 63 or 64 years old, and he knows he can't do this forever. He's worried that when he passes, no one will be there to take care of his girls. I'm deeply honored that he would select me to continue his legacy. When we returned home, my mind was swimming, and I only slept 3 hours that first night, waking up early to write in my journal and to try to clear my head. That's when the thought hit me that I would need to purchase some real estate in that location. As I did my search, I found some great properties, but then my heart sank when I saw that the island was for sale, listed for over $3 million. But what made my heart really sink was the wording in the listing description, if you're looking for a place to have an Airbnb. My mind instantly went to, tourists will trash this island. The wonderful, loving instructor will no longer be allowed to do his excursion because it will now be a private island, and those beautiful creatures will be chased from their habitat. It broke my heart, and I felt a deep sadness. My body quaked for several hours after learning this news. After catching my breath, I went and told my wife the bad news and said, I think we need to save this island. We decided that we would both fast and pray the next day to consider all the possibilities, from me going to work with the instructor to just trying to save the island. That evening, before breaking my fast, I sat down to meditate and write down my thoughts. I was overpowered by the feeling that saving the island is the number one priority, and that I shouldn't worry about going to work down there or anything else at this time. My mind went back to the experience we had with the flight delay and meeting the stranger who told us about the stingrays. It's highly likely that we would not have had this experience without those two things happening. Then the fact that this island has just gone up for sale just at this time when I was there. I sincerely believe that God has put me in this position to protect that sacred part of the world. I think he knows that I'm just crazy enough to try. I honestly don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't have $3 million, not even close, and I have no experience raising capital. But I do know that when we follow God with faith and we're willing to work hard, doors will be open. And hopefully that leads to us being able to purchase and protect that island. As I mentioned earlier, there will be an extended version of this video. I really just wanted to tell my story so you can understand where I'm coming from and why I feel so passionate about doing this. The reason I didn't release this video immediately and why I didn't give specific names or details is because I'm frightened that the wrong person will purchase that island and it will all be gone. I've reached out to several of my most trusted sources to find the best path to bring this all together. But I'm not going to lie, it's very overwhelming. I mean, I need to somehow pull $3 million out of thin air. Okay, I think that's enough for now. I'll explain more in the future, and I will continue to tell a story so you can follow along. For now, there are still a lot of questions to be answered, none bigger than can I actually pull this off? Thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button below, and we'll catch you next time.
Lift up towards you, lift up, lift up, lift up. Don't move your hands. Damn, that was perfect.
Yes.
Mommy.
Big mama.
Mommy.
Cooper. Big mama. Feeding stingrays. How you doing?